everything.
Right.
I mean, and I'm pretty sure you still got that mentality. You want to do everything.
I do not.
You need to rely on Sal.
I do not have that many. As a matter of fact, I mean, and I don't know how Sal feels about this. For the most part, I don't even communicate with the maintenance man anymore. If I need something done because a citizen calls me, I will call Sal or text Sal and tell him, hey, there's a water leak here. Can you get somebody to go look at it? I got an email from so and so, or I'll forward it to him and say, hey, can you address this? Take a look at this. And now I'm even including Betsy on financial matters. Can you look at this and see if this is something that we need to follow through? Is there anything that we need to do on this? I do talk to Sal on occasions where I know he gets a little busy. I say, hey, look, this is going on. Do you need some help with it? I can help you. I can make the phone calls. I have time on my hands to kind of take the lead on this. Similar to what I would do when you were the mayor pro tem, because you had days that you were off multiple days, and I'd say, hey, can you sit in on this meeting because I won't be able to be there.
Right.
So I ask the same of Sal if he has something and he's really busy, because I will email him and say, hey, they called about this project or that project, and do you, if you need any help, let me know, and I'll make the phone calls for you. So I don't know, Sal. I mean, what do you think? You think?
Let me. What kind of do we have a mayor, council mayor,
We're mayor council.
mayor council, right? So
Right.
we're in charge of pretty much the council is in charge, right?
The council's
It's council and mayor.
So we have the power, right? Mostly
Ultimately,
we have the power.
Council has the power, and the mayor should be supporting the
mayor
council.
just follows and makes sure that everything's going correctly.
the council.
City ordinances, he's gonna do what the mayor is requesting for him to do, and then work with
Yeah, the council doesn't have the
But I
council
think
neither.
what Jesse's also, because I was gonna say, I see on your Facebook page, and I say your Facebook page because it's Mayor Maldonado,
Mhm.
but a lot of people think that it's the city. And if you go on there and you look at it, it says cityofodem.com. You push that button, it goes to the city website. But you're putting stuff on there and people are calling me. So then, I'll call Isaac, I'll call Jesse. Hey, did you know about this? Did you know about this? No, well, the mayor put it out there. We don't know anything about it. So you've been doing stuff like that. Again, I was gonna discuss mainly about this, Facebook, social media, that I think we should create a resolution and do away with that, because you're using your authority. And a lot of people see the word Mayor Maldonado posting stuff like that, and you're posting negativity, that you're doing an internal investigation. I don't recall that you came before the council that you were doing an internal
It's
investigation.
an internal review, and I think that you were the
see
one
good
that was very,
investigation.
you were very adamant about doing. I mean, this came from you. You were the one that requested it in the beginning because of the money that was being spent, previously.
It was on the
So-
1.5 million that was spent at the wastewater treatment plant is what,
Well,
when you came on
exactly.
board, is what, now
Exactly.
you're going back and saying 2016, 2017, 18, 19, that was before.
Because when I started looking into that, it opened up more doors, and it opened up more. There was more concerns that we need to look back. Now, you may not agree, and I understand. I mean, we're not going to agree on everything.
Let me-
But again, there's minutes,
So
but you're posting false information.
I don't think it's false.
Yes, it is, sir.
No?
It's
Okay,
false
well, we can
information
disagree on
because
that.
even Becky has minutes.
Okay.
Jesse was there, Isaac was there, the council was a financial committee. So the mayor would take everything from the financial committee, and the CDs were cash, of course, are cash and put into the general fund, because you have to close out that CD account. But you're saying, no, they cash the CDs and put it in the general account. I don't know what to believe it, but it's there, you look at the minutes and all that, know, it's there, but you're opening a can of worms by telling these people, and everybody's like, oh, wow, another money's missing.
Well, let me piggyback on that too. It just, I know it's the information out there, but what happens on that, it's going to put a strain on our city officials. Because everybody's going to want public information. So here again, that information, you can have 20 people out there coming in here.
I want information on TDs. So what's gonna happen? Sal is gonna be inundated on all these public informations.
And
So
what's-
I know it's,
And what's
you're
wrong
trying
with
to,
that, though?
And can
But-
I ask
I mean-
why-
I mean, I know there's nothing wrong with it, but
Go
he's
ahead.
gotta take time out of his,
Go ahead, man.
why are we bringing this up? If we had budget meetings, when you came on, your goal was to get the city back on track. And so then we've been doing that. So why are we throwing out this negativity? I'm gonna say negativity because I have had people send it to me, and it's like, cause I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
look at it. Like, we need to get away from the drama. We need to start moving forward. Stop focusing on what happened, because we can't change what happened. We already know it's out there. If you wanna we got people to come in and you had hired an agency to come in, and fine. But I don't know what came out of it, because nobody has told us yet if anything came out of it, but we can't change what happened in the past, and we gotta start focusing on moving forward. We're never gonna get the city back on track, focusing on negative stuff. We gotta start focusing on positive. We're not here that's not our goal, it shouldn't be to cause drama. That is so, it just really turns me off, because I'm in here, I don't have nothing to gain. Everybody knows that this has been very difficult for me to be on because of my position as, I'm already in a leadership position working for the district. So this is a lot of work, but I thought we were moving on the right track.
I think we
And
are.
I don't think we are when we're posting negativity, because then we start getting all these people all worked up. But why? We were focusing on positive things. You were posting positive things. We're doing this, we're doing that. Great. But now all of a sudden we're posting other things. And like one of your posts, I'm just going to say it. It said, it's time to do some spring cleaning or something.
Mhm.
What was the purpose of that? I'm just going to say it,
You
because I don't.
leaders.
When you're in a leadership position, you should maintain neutrality. If you want to feel however you feel, why is it being posted on the mayor one? Post it on one that's just your name. But
Mhm.
a leader should just be there to lead and guide, not try to bring negativity and drama. And it's just discouraging. I'm just
Okay.
gonna say, it's
Okay.
very discouraging. And it doesn't matter, because I'm not even running anymore, but I still want what's best for the city.
Well, I think that we've spent thousands of dollars we had Mr. Bain come in and look through our financials. He's helped us turn the corner. I mean, I think that we really haven't officially turned the corner yet, because we're not really, we're still going month to month. I mean, financially, we had enough money to start a new water meter program, which I think is fantastic for the city. Then we had our CPA. When I came in, our CPA, initially, we had the $1.2 million deficit that we had discussed when we first came in. Our CPA said, no, you have a $3 million deficit. Our CPA couldn't find, that's why they couldn't get the audits done, because they couldn't find all the documentation to show where that money had gone. And then we had TML come in, and TML's CPA or accountant came in, and he had the same issues and the same concerns. Obviously, it was something that they said, well, we're not going to go ahead and put this on our report, but there was a lot of mismanagement, and that's what going back to Mr. Bain. He says we really can't find a lot of this documentation for these funds. So you have 3 outside resources concerned with the same issues. Now, their thing, and all of them have said the same thing. I can't say that anything illegal was done. And there's no proof that I can't find anything that anything illegal was done, but we are concerned that there was, that we can't track a lot of these expenses because the documentation is not there. Now, I know that there are minutes. I know that the minutes were approved, and that the cashing of the CDs were approved. So, and I think that I said when I did that little town hall thing that the money did go into the general fund. The issue is, where did it go after that? Because neither our CPA, neither Mr. Bain or TML could find the paperwork, the documentation to show what those funds were spent on. So, at this point, like I said, I don't feel that anybody did anything illegal. I'm not trying to show that anyone did anything illegal because it's just really not there. Maybe if we had a forensic auditor come in, they might be able to find something, but that's not the CPA, Mr. Bain and TML are not forensic auditors. So
And so
my
how
thing
is
is just,
posting that on social media gonna help the situation?
It's not,
it's,
What,
And
not
I'm
gonna
gonna
help.
tell you because I have emails where I questioned paying certain people, I'm not gonna say any names, large sums of money. So I can tell you where a lot of that money went. And I have emails questioning it, but it kept happening. And so I can't, I mean, by myself, I can't, things were being done because people were doing what they wanted to do.
right, but,
And
and the
again, they
emails,
were abusing their leadership
but,
position.
so,
go ahead.
the point is, Mayor, we're in the right track. Why go backwards?
mhm.
We're in the right track. We're getting audits. We're a team. And let's keep on going forward. Let's don't look back.
It was already known.
I know,
It
it's-
was in code that messed it
Yeah,
up.
it's just-
No.
We're doing a good job.
It was in code.
So
What's the code?
so has the audit for 2023 been completed?
So we got audits. We're getting audits. I
Why?
mean, things are,
But-
Okay,
but-
2023
roles and
2023 audit has
Isn't
not been
it
done.
his job
No.
to do an investigation?
yeah.
Because we can't do 2020. We did 2020, fiscal year 2020,
Right.
but we can't do 2023 until we get 21 and 22 done.
But we're getting them
Because
done.
23,
Yeah.
we have to get the other two done before we can start.
But we're
23.
moving that way, right?
And my thing is now with this House Bill 1851 that's in committee right now,
That you blamed all of us for.
well, I wouldn't say
You blamed everybody. You blamed the old council.
We have to move forward.
You blamed
Stand-
the
stand
old
by.
council.
And
Stand
there's
by.
tons of them. but they
18,
don't
explain,
Yeah,
wait,
I don't know,
hang on.
automatically.
Explain 1851 to me. Explain it to me. I'll explain it to you real quick. All it is remember that tax you want, that if, what is that? If you want to go above the
Above
exit, that's it.
Right.
That's all
That's
it
it.
is.
So if you're gonna go just regular tax, that's it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect us.
I
It's
think
not gonna
it-
affect
I think
nobody.
it does.
No,
I
it
think
doesn't.
does just
If
as
you're gonna
much.
go over
Hold on,
the,
Hold
that's
on,
why you put
hold
on
on.
there to
I
do
think-
away and do spring cleaning
I
and
think,
get rid of the old,
I
but
think,
they're not running. I'm the
So-
one running, so you're targeting
I
me.
because I'm in the executive, I'm in the
hold on,
legislative
hold
thing.
on. I think it does. This is how I think it affects us. I know that all of us here at some point want to have the police department back. If we're gonna have a police department here, we're probably gonna have to ask the citizens to raise taxes. Because that's the only way we're gonna be able to afford to pay for a police department in the future, is by raising taxes.
But we're not
so
there yet. Like,
I know we're
get
not there
away-
yet, but we have to
can
fix
Get
it.
away with the police department, and I know that was one of your goals, and because you wanted to help quickly get back on track, we did away with it, but we're not.
But I would like to get it back.
Yeah, but
you
I
know,
don't see
and-
the council making that decision if there's no money, like, they're gonna be,
But
I-
this
I wanna-
House bill says audits. It don't say back audits. All it says you gotta have audits within 180 days.
Yep.
Yeah,
It don't say back audits.
But we haven't done our
Well, we
2024 audit. We're already behind on our
Well, it's just,
2024
you got
audit.
180 days.
So
If that bill, right
That's-
now,
that's
that
6
bill
months.
has not passed.
that's 6
So
months.
why are we looking at this?
Because I'm trying to plan for the future, because I want us to be in a better position so we can.
But you should have put that
Oh.
on social media because that has not passed.
Well,
That,
I
that's, so
understand that.
everybody's all,
Oh,
ooh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
getting, everybody
I
getting
understand.
scared.
Get rid of the old and come in with a new faces.
You know, being in a legislative time right now, nothing starts getting excited until the last part.
But once
I
it
mean,
goes
there's a
into
lot of
committee,
stuff. Yes.
once it goes into committee, that's,
But
you know,
it,
because a lot of it doesn't even make
it
it to
doesn't
committee.
mean nothing.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's a lot of,
Okay, and, okay, I mean.
there's a
we can-
lot of stuff in
again, we
legislation. You know, I mean,
The main thing, like I said, is you're posting stuff out there, even.
It's scaring
even the
people.
negativity, but you're also doing things like I said, didn't you approve, the fire truck of the volunteer fire department?
No, sir.
You didn't,
No, sir.
so why did Ingleside have Odem that they were selling a fire truck to, the
Well,
fire
that
department?
was the fire department's association that they started, their nonprofit. They made that deal with Ingleside. I reached out to Ingleside. They were going to sell the fire truck to Taft, but Taft jumped out of it. But Odem, our guys had already reached out to Ingleside because they wanted the truck, and they told them that Taft was going to buy it. So I told them that we couldn't buy it for them. So
No,
they
we-
decided to use their own funds that they've raised for the association to purchase a truck. My understanding to them,
let's,
It still has to go before council. Let them
Yeah.
understand.
That's what I was about to.
You know, anything they do, they still have to go before council because we're gonna have to insure it. The city of Odom's the one that insures. the fire
exactly,
truck,
and that's what I
not
told
them.
them. That's what I
And
explained to
then
them.
what if it needs maintenance? Who's got the tires, all that? The city of Odom's gonna have to.
well, you know, and the transparency,
Their budget.
Exactly.
I called our city administrator, like, I saw the agenda for, he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't know
See,
what,
that kind of goes back to what
he didn't know
we
what I was
need to
talking about.
get away from, and is people doing things because they can,
Okay,
because
so-
they're the leader, but it needs to be working together.
So let me explain that. If y'all wanna, I'll explain to you this fire truck thing. I had nothing to do with that fire truck thing. They decided that they wanted to buy this fire truck. What they came to me, when I said, well, let me call Ingleside, find out. They said, oh, we already talked to them. So I called Ingleside, and Ingleside said, no, we're selling it to Taft. I said, okay, that's the last I heard of it, other than I had a discussion with Beltran. And I said, look, if the city buys the truck, you know, we can go and look at it. We can make sure that it doesn't need anything. I said, and then we can have the council see if they want to buy it. I said, oh no, we're gonna buy it with our own money, our organization. I said, okay. I said, well, if you guys buy it and y'all want to use it, y'all gonna have to come before the council because the city's gonna have to insure it. So the city is gonna have to approve. I said, so in a sense, that's y'all's truck. Y'all can do whatever you want with it. Your organization can use it for parades, whatever, but you will not be able to use it to respond to fires until it's been approved by the council. So I said, and the only way that's gonna happen is if y'all donate it, because they bought some things that, you know, small things, and they just, with their own money, and they use them for the city, right? So like uniforms and stuff. So they said, well, we don't want to donate it to the city because it's all going to be our truck. I said, well, then the city's not going to insure it. And we're not going to allow y'all to use it to respond to fires because then the city's going to be liable and we don't know what the condition of that truck is. That was the last conversation I had with them. They never called me back and told me we're getting it. The next thing I heard was Jesse calling me that, hey, I'm over here at the city Ingleside, and apparently
I'm
Odem,
accepting a fire truck, right?
Odem just got a fire truck. And that was, after that conversation about if y'all are gonna want to use it, it has to be donated to the city, but the city has to approve it.
And write a check.
And you know, that was my last conversation with them. I still was under the impression that Taft was going to get it until later on I found out that Taft was not going to get it. And then our guys went ahead and I guess made the deal with Ingleside. I had nothing to do with that deal at all.
So maybe when you did find out about it, communicating with the city and
Well-
saying, hey, I just want to give you a heads up, they told me this, but I told them this, just so there's communication between each leader.
Yeah, Sal and I have had a lot of discussions about, you know, communicating with each other because, you know, there's some issues like you know, where I didn't know until after the fact, and you know, and you're right, it is a little upsetting when you find out about some, what they consider critical things that are going on in the city. And I have to find out from a third party, instead of from our city administrator. But we're working on that. I mean, we still have to kind of work on our communication. And we've had that discussion, so.
That's there was an Army truck purchased. They did it right away. They came before the city, said, hey, we're gonna purchase this Army truck, and we want to fix it up. So, they bought it with their own money, and then they donated it to them, and then we put it in the insurance. They never fixed it, but, it was lost.
Well,
But
again,
that was a correct way of doing it.
yeah, and I agree. But again, after that conversation with them, I didn't even realize they had moved forward with it. So I think, Mr. Bain.
Mayor, council members. I've been working with the city now for a year and a half or so. And when you hired the city administrator, one of the first things that I asked, what authority was granted to the city administrator from the mayor? Because the mayor is the chief administrative officer. It needs to be in writing. What is the expenditure authority of that man to conduct and implement your annual without having to come to you every that this meeting. Is it inappropriate? No, it's not, because there may not have been any other alternative like that. But it would have been the reimburse the city for
You were here when we hired him.
No, sir.
You were here, yes, you were.
I met this man in June.
You were here when we hired him. We paid you all this money to help us,
I wasn't
guide us
paid
through all this.
anything from
Hold on.
And you were here.
of that year.
The duties are just. what the city secretary, I think the city secretary's were in the contract. So this is his contract right here. We want to read the duties.
So then just let's-
Submit that already to the, and I guess we're getting off track a little bit, but, I guess we can leave that for another day.
Fixed
So-
assets are an issue. We are working on them. Betsy is putting stuff together as best she can with what we have.
So I guess let's just get back to what our.
But this is good, this is
So-
good.
I just want to say one thing. You hit it right on the nail.
Yep,
You said
yep,
a lot of stuff that was done that council was never aware of.
correct.
Okay? And that's what happens.
Yeah.
Because the mayor doesn't work there 24/7. The council doesn't work there 24/7. So, with posting stuff like, oh, we gotta do away with the old and come in with the new, because this is what happened. So. But it's, in reality, it's in-house.
And if I could urge, document your policy. The function of a council are goals, setting policies, and to hire an administrator and evaluate that administrator as he implements your goals and policies.
And
How
we
much
have
is-
a
what
very
is his
good
expenditure?
Administrator right now, and we want to do everything.
And this is a good meeting like this to get, like, it's good to start this thing, these policies and stuff. Get these policies, yeah.
Well, when it comes to, not it's about change, man. I think that I move everything. I think I'm pretty good at referring everything to you and not, trying to overstep my bounds as far as the day-to-day operations. I mean, do you agree?
I'm still not clear who my boss is because he's saying, you're my boss. Y'all say y'all are my boss. When I got hired, my impression was that the body is my boss. And I don't use the word boss. It's, you set me in a situation where you give me direction. So when it comes to administrative decisions, I still run things by you because I've not got clear direction. Because the way things, like before I came in, I knew what was going on in Odem. And there was the authority that was in the mayor's pocket and some in the city council, and it was a little skewed. So I was trying to get that cleared based on my study of this, how you're supposed to be set up. I thought that the council was the boss who gives me direction. And if they're telling me we don't like what you're doing, or we do like what you're doing, or do what you need to do, that's how I need to go. But when it comes to certain decisions, I still feel like I don't have the say so. And not that I want it necessarily, but if you're telling me it's up to you to decide, but then and here's the thing, I don't want to shut down communication because each and every one of you have given me great guidance and support, and great ideas come along with that. And it's a good system. When it works, it works. But when it comes to the differences, that's when that stress comes on.
So I think that, my understanding, even when the previous city administrator was here, and the city administrator position, let's all be honest here. The city administrator position was created because we already had a city secretary, and they wanted to bring another individual into City Hall, and they needed someone that was going to oversee the city secretary's position. So they created the city administrator, because the city administrator was going to be above the city secretary.
No,
And
I can clarify that. It was changed because a lot of the terminology, whenever we go to TML,
Yeah.
everybody uses the
Administrator.
terminology administrator.
Right.
Administrator. City secretaries are not used.
Way
anymore.
low.
So that's why, and I think it was
Yeah.
Jesse's idea
Yeah.
to bring it up. I was not even the mayor, I wasn't
Yeah,
even
you weren't
involved, but
even
I
in
knew
council.
what was going on.
Yeah.
I was not the mayor. We
But,
still had
no,
the
I
city
say you
secretary.
weren't the mayor. I know
Right.
you weren't even in
But,
council.
but I remember, that, that's what they wanted, is just to change the name. But they did give more authority, on that contract, where now, I don't recall.
Well,
if it's the same contract.
Because we had a city secretary at the time, and Miss Becky, I mean, what was your understanding of your role and who was your supervisor at the time when you were the city secretary, since you're here? To the mayor, correct. And then the mayor's responsibility was to inform the council. Okay, so that's kind of my understanding has always been. The city secretaries, we did away with the city secretary, we gave the responsibility to the city administrator. After the city secretary at the time was let go, the city administrator took on all those duties as city secretary / administrator.
So
So
I'm not supposed to talk to them, I'm supposed to just talk to you, is that what we're saying?
that was, that,
No.
that was her understanding when she was city secretary. She responded to the mayor. And now you and I have had conversations where I say, hey, go ahead and email the council and let them know, right? I mean, and we've had those conversations on certain things, because obviously you're in your office, you could do that right away. And my understanding has always been the council sets the rules. They create the laws and the rules and the ordinances and also comes up with resolutions, because they have ideas. I mean, and then they vote on them. Once those are voted on, my understanding is it's my responsibility to make sure that everyone underneath, including you, follow these ordinances, and that they're followed the way the council interprets them. Now, there's a concern about the way they might be misinterpreted, or there's an issue with interpretation. Then, of course, that's what Effie is for, our lawyer. We get with him, and that's why he sits here in the council meetings, because if there is an issue with interpretation, then we get that straightened out through legal counsel, which I think you have something that you're waiting on his response on, because we're trying to get his legal opinion on. That was always my understanding. That's the way the previous administrator and I worked. And that was my understanding from talking to you in the past, that, you reported to the mayor, because that's the way it was set up. So that was my understanding all along. It's not about, I do very little of the day-to-day operations anymore, other than from time to time on my days off, I will go to the maintenance shop, go look around. I meet with the staff here at City Hall, see if they have any issues or any complaints. I try to use that time to meet with our maintenance guys. I'll go out to the wastewater treatment plant. I'll go out to the water plant. But if there's anything that needs to be done, I usually tell Sal and say, hey, I went to the wastewater treatment plant. I saw A, B, and C. Can you get a work order so the guys can come and address it, or have somebody come and look at it? Now, I think we kind of, as far as expenditures, $5,000, I think is what we kind of, if it's up to $5,000, that you could go ahead and just approve.
No, that's not been clear for me. I've just, you've been included on I mean, honestly, like anything over 1,000 or something to do with a major repair, I've included you on those. No.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
of
again,
course, keeping me informed, but I mean,
but I'm still
usually-
looking, but I'm not gonna do anything until I get signed off, because it's not clear about what that means. It's not in writing, I guess, and that's the
But I
concern.
think we hired him, and he has to be, we have to trust that he's gonna make decisions, like, I guess because I'm looking at, I'm just.
No, we do.
Like the board
Yeah.
tells the superintendent.
Yeah.
But the superintendent makes decisions, like day-to-day decisions, only if they're gonna purchase items and big things, but like you're saying, it needs to come to council, but decisions that should be made, that should be him, like,
Yep.
we hired him because we feel he's competent to do his job, and he needs to have that, that ability where he's not being like, oh, do I need to ask, do I need to wait? That needs to be made.
we had a very good relationship. He didn't know everything, but what I like about him is what he has now. Learning to learn. Learn. He's starting with school. And him and I have been going to a lot of schools. Okay. Well,
He came. Yeah, he's been going to a lot of different conferences and other, he actually attended a lot of the meetings.
so he's able to attend whatever training that he wants to. That he feels is appropriate. I think he should have access.
Has anybody told you no, they can't, you cannot attend training?
I have,
You told them no?
I have, because that was when TML was gonna be here to go through our finances that week. So I asked him to be here because I felt like he needed to be in the office to make, to be aware of what was being done and what was being, yeah, but that's really the only thing.
But
that
I guess
think-
it goes back to, do I ask him, can I go?
No.
Or does he have to wait for his approval to go? Or
You say you're gonna attend this,
If it's something,
keep the open line of
Well,
communication?
let us.
Yeah, I
if
think,
you
yeah.
want to, let us
Well,
know.
this is my only concern with that. And there have been a couple of instances where he sends me a calendar thing that he'll be out on Thursday. I get it that week that he's going to be out on Thursday because he's going to be at a conference. I didn't even know that there was a conference that he wanted to go to. So I'm like, well, hold on, you know.
But is he supposed to, I mean, I just think that's.
I think, no, well, I mean,
Not
if you want to go to a conference, you have to let your superiors know, hey,
My
there's this.
superintendent, but not the
Okay.
board.
Oh, not the board, but
president.
I'm the superintendent. I feel like he should say, hey, there's a conference in 2 weeks. There's a conference in 2 weeks. Yeah,
So think about it.
exactly. If she wanted to go, she had to report to the mayor.
I'm available to answer your call anyway.
Go ahead.
Who cares?
Well, they're gonna vote on
No, no.
is because of our financial situation. If that was trained, it's gonna cost the city, hotel costs, per diem.
We have turned the corner. We've turned the corner.
No, we haven't really turned the corner.
So if we didn't turn the corner, we wouldn't be getting things done. We're getting things done.
I want to say that we're on the right direction. When I say that when we've turned the corner, when we've made up.
That's not gonna he's investing in the city. He's investing in the city.
Hold on. Is there a discussion about organization here, or if I continue to have, you know, even in the council meetings and so forth. Go ahead.
The answer in the perfect world is that she functions, her expenditures
So you're saying that you're gonna put it in the budget and then not
I had just gone with the $5,000. I think which is what she.
It's not a.
Okay, well, you know, that's a good point. So let's get another special call meeting and let's get that resolved.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's right. Let's get it.
Purchasing authorization.
We're here.
What
Let's
can the mayor spend?
and let's get that.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, because not all of us can go. It's as a whole. Remember, we
Yeah.
already approved X amount of dollars?
Yeah.
It don't matter if you spend it all, it doesn't matter if she spends it
Right.
all, or you spend it, or both of y'all, or the mayor.
Like, the only time it comes back to council is if we've already hit the budget.
Right, if you hit the budget, then hey, I've
You
already
have to-
seen, I've
That's
seen
when
the
you
budget,
come
but
do
I gotta
a
attend this.
budget
Well,
line
see,
transfer,
I've been
maybe
going to
transfer.
last 3, 4. I spend on my own.
Yeah, but,
I spend my own, and then I get scholarships for TML.
right.
That's what we're here for.
But
Let's
we do
we
have
got
to
to.
invest money because he's learning his.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, the 25,000. That resolution was, yeah, it's
But
actually.
it said,
an
but
ordinance.
and we brought this up in July and it wasn't, and there was so it was brought up in July because one interpretation was that the mayor has spending authority of 25,000 and that authority is delegated to the city administrator. So one interpretation was that if there's no city administrator, the mayor can spend, and then if there is a city administrator, the mayor can't spend, it goes to the city administrator. At that meeting, it was defined as, no, the mayor decides what to delegate to the city administrator.
So we'll
But-
fine tune that. We'll fine tune that.
So that's,
Well-
in July, that's what it was.
We'll fine tune that. We'll fine tune that. Whatever, you know. What is that?
What did you say? What did you say?
On
What
spend.
was it you said?
Okay, Ruben.
Defined expenditure authority?
Authorizations.
All I do is they would have the cameras.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
I mean.
I would like to also see, I mean, not picking on you, the mayor, but social media stuff.
Well, I will use my mayor page for just the mayor, the city stuff, and I will use my personal page for, anything else that I'd like to post. And that'll kind of, so that'll be kind of
I
this,
wanna do the same thing, that
Yeah.
you stole money for the Little League,
so.
and you're doing it again with your organization.
Okay.
So, I think all you are.
Mr. Mayor, I have had my hand for about 20 minutes up, and you have ignored me.
No, I haven't.
I just.
I've had other people talking. Go ahead.
I just came.
Okay, go ahead. You have the floor. Go ahead.
I came from a place of business. When he started this audit and investigation of the audit. he
Hold on.
said-
Yeah, no, we're not talking about
No,
the
he said-
today's
yeah, but
meeting.
that-
Today's meeting is
But
about,
let me tell you,
hold
let me
on.
just tell you.
Hold on,
Rules,
sir.
Why you
rules,
cutting
right.
me off?
Today's
Because you don't
meeting-
wanna know
no.
the truth?
I'm trying to stay on track on what we are here to beat about. And this
Okay,
is about
but
the
you
chain of
just asked
command.
me.
So, okay, yeah, we can have that discussion afterwards. This is about the order
See,
and,
you're cutting me
so
off.
I am, because that has nothing to do with what the meeting, the workshop is about.
That's what
so-
you've been putting
so-
on your Facebook.
That doesn't have anything to do with what
We're discussing that
here.
right now.
So,
We're Facebook stuff.
Okay.
You're
Sal,
the guy who put up there in that seat, those
Yes, sir.
cards in the front.
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was getting
I
some,
I
Okay.
was suggesting that in addition to an expenditure authorization policy, that you address and identify who your public information officer is.
That's him. He just went to class.
That's a
And
good
we have
idea.
our own city of Odem, webpage
Which
and.
is not up to date.
Right.
I was trying to get information yesterday about the park, because somebody was very upset about how much it cost. I couldn't find the bid, I couldn't find
No,
the,
no, Facebook.
so you're talking about the city of Odem
No,
website.
the website and Facebook. You can post this stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, I see that, I get my information. I don't even know.
Yeah,
So
what's wrong with the website?
That,
I guess it's not up to date. It's hard because the webmaster, you have to send the information to him, and then he does it when he can and when he wants.
So let's
It's hard to
just,
get things.
well, let's just get
up to date
another,
really quick.
get somebody, another,
I think Sal's been looking at that about getting somebody else to manage our website.
okay, let's talk about this. Everybody get this out. Let's iron this one out here. So,
We can't really be voting or just.
no, listen, well,
We're not
he
voting.
said there's is it supposed to be council? You said council, mayor? What,
In my opinion, the mayor is chief executive officer.
right,
He is of the council, and everything gets to the council through the mayor.
so this gotta
So
be.
whenever you say, I guess I want more clarity on mayor. So does that mean that he is going to be,
He is the spokesperson for the council. He is
yes,
the
but does
conduit.
so what does that mean? Like he's going to.
Here's Eagle Sights,
What year?
The citizens.
25.
Here's the citizens. The citizens are the boss. City council, and city council, then it goes city council, then it goes municipal judge, city manager. This is the what you have now. He's different.
They
No,
vote.
yeah.
He's the chair.
That's home rule. Right. That's home rule, yeah.
Maybe you should
So the
consider
mayor's not
changing to a home
Huh?
rule
The
city.
mayor's not it?
See, the city council, that's like a little structure thing.
Mayor's in that group right there.
No, he goes below it,
So the mayor's not even in there.
down here.
The only way that we can change it like to a home rule,
Oh, we gotta go 5,000.
no, we could still do type A general city, but the manager would have more control if we take it to public.
Yeah, but then, yeah, that's a big thing. The manager, city manager has to be too much.
But, in my opinion, the council sets the rules to him, and then all he's gotta do is respond to the
We just
mayor
got
and
to put
say,
the
"Look,
mayor,
this is what happened, this is what's going on,
bring it down.
then it's the mayor's responsibility for the council. You don't have to call us.
But I feel that-
You can.
But I
and
feel that.
explain it if you
But does
want.
he have to tell him or does he have to ask permission?
No, you don't have to.
No, the day-to-day operations,
That's-
he doesn't have to really, I mean,
I think you should have to call
Ask
and ask any
permission.
of us permission for anything.
No,
I think that we shouldn't.
mayor.
Oh.
Right.
the only thing that I ask of Sal is to keep me informed because I don't like hearing about things from a third party. And we can discuss that like after we get done with this meeting. Because it doesn't really have to do anything with what the agenda is. But just making sure that, because if I know, and I think it's critical for y'all to know, then I will let him know. I'll let the council know. I'll send an email out, or I'll let him know, hey, go ahead and email the council and let them know this is going on, because I don't want y'all to be surprised with, some issues that may be coming up or that citizens are concerned about, or because things at City Hall get out very, very quick.
But just like you just
Okay.
said, it's the same for the council, because we find out stuff
Uh-huh.
that we don't
Wait,
even
wait.
know.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street, Mayor.
No, hold on.
It's a
But
two-way
when
street.
y'all don't know, I don't know. So
No, you,
Because I know about the fire truck
Go
and
ahead.
a lot of them didn't.
Well, let's go down the road.
For example, there was a post a few months back about a crossing here on Willis about closing the railroad. I don't know if anybody remembers. It was apparently on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Facebook.
Willis, or was it the Main
Willis,
Street?
right here, Willis, right, it was Willis. Apparently, you had spoken to somebody from Union Pacific or from the railroad about closing, and you had asked citizens what their opinion was. I remember we had a call in journal and somebody asked me nothing about it, but it was on Facebook, but yet you don't talk about it.
Actually,
So there is a lot of things that you post that we know nothing about. When we're asked, my answer always,
think it was just I think it was,
So, if you didn't get a text message, I'm sorry, but I got a text message, I never got.
it was like Union Pacific wanted to buy the crossover there on those. And I think, no, this was when Union Pacific wanted to buy, to close out Millis, like they did the other intersections, so. But that was something that, we didn't even address.
What was it, 2 days ago, when it was raining? I went to the wastewater plant, and I saw cameras up there, so. And then I was going, and I saw a fence. Somebody's building a fence. Called the administrator, said, "Hey, what's going on? Who's building the fence out here?" And I talked to Sal, I said, "Hey, what's going on? Who's building the fence?" So
Okay, yeah, I know where you're going with it, yeah, and I thought maybe we had discussed it, but maybe I didn't.
No,
Okay.
and I heard it too.
Yeah.
I heard it that you got your family members to go ahead and fix it so they could put cattle in.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it was not my family members, my family members don't do cows. So, out at the wastewater treatment plant, and we'll discuss that, there's, not in the plant, the property around it. There's a few ranchers that wanted to see if we could use it, they could use it, and I felt, that it's not costing the city any money. They will, yeah, you're right, and so.
No, that's, I just mentioned it. No,
No.
it's situation.
So, yeah, let's-
We're about that. One question,
So I think that just to move forward,
it just,
maybe
two
just
way,
having a better understanding,
It's
so
just-
Sal will know, what he,
because he's out of
You
loop
know.
sometimes too,
because he needs to kind of be able to handle the day-to-day operations
Right.
without having to.
Because we don't want to, you're right, Mayor, we don't want to go backwards to where
Yes.
decisions were made and the council were not aware of, and now we have all these issues or whatever. So just better
No.
communication.
And I'm trying to do my best to try to keep everything. If I had like the contractors that wanted to build on the east side of town, Sal and I met with them. We met for lunch one day, and I said, look, I don't want to negotiate nothing behind closed doors. I said, that's just not. I said, if y'all want to come and build in Odem, you need to come before the council in a public setting and explain to the community what it is that you want to do. So we didn't work any deals. We didn't do anything because I know that when we first brought in Mr. Bain, there was a lot of hearsay about what was I getting out of hiring Mr. Bain, when in reality, it was Mr. Falcone who met Mr. Bain and introduced him to me. So I had never even met Mr. Bain until Councilman Falcone introduced him to me. But the word around the street was that he was my friend and that I had hired him, and what was I getting out of it? And I had never met Mr. Bain. So that's why I try to do, and I apologize and I'm like I said, I'm always going to be open and honest. I apologize if there were some things in the past that I feel like, well, if it's not going to cost the city any money and it's going to help us, then let's just go ahead and do it, right? But if y'all don't feel comfortable with that, I even tell Sal sometimes, I say, well, you know what, that's not costing us anything, so just go ahead and do it, And I know he does have some concerns sometimes, but my thing, if it's going to cost us money, I think that you guys need to be, aware, because it's costing the city money, and y'all are in control of the purse, basically, right? My job is just to make sure that the budget that y'all approve, that we stay within it, and that we're at the end of the fiscal year where we anticipated we were going to be. So now Sal is a little.
What happens when he does have concerns? What happens if he has concerns that it's, and you still want to do it? I mean, I don't know, I guess that's where I want.
Yeah.
What happens?
He disagrees with his.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, I think maybe it's something.
Well, I think in general, the process is whether it's him or either one of you that say, hey, Sal, we should do this. And if I think yeah, that's a great idea. We should.
But
We, you know, we go through the proper channels, whether it's something I can do on my own, or I bring it to council, or I just, you know, whatever the case is. So in the situations where we disagree, where it's, go and spend, $25,000 on this project, and I'm like, I don't think we should spend that money right now, or we can wait. Well, no, you better do it. Okay, I'm saying no, so at that point, it should go to council to decide. If it's outside my normal boundaries anyway, right? 24.99, let's just say, right? Because let's say, or whatever, let's say it's determined I can spend that much, or if it's the mayor saying spend this much, right? And if I don't think it's a good idea, then I would say no. I've told all of y'all no at some point, I think, and I validated it. But at that point, that's when I go like that. Okay, if you're gonna do what you're gonna do, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. But I've done my part, and then at some point, it would go just to council to decide to make the big decision. If there's I can't remember, there was one item that was like that. It wasn't anything controversial. It was just like, okay, there's no clear direction how to approach this project.
So the mayor told you to go do something and you had a problem with that. That's where you have,
Well,
where we draw the line.
mayor, council.
Say the mayor said, go buy a $30,000 trailer. And you go,
Well, that's over the night.
I know, right?
You know.
Well,
15,000 scenario.
Well, whether-
Said 15,000. He said, well,
I would let him know, or let any one of you know that I don't, we have to sort of, I don't think we should spend that. We don't.
but he told you, go do it.
We don't need it right now. And then it's sort of, well, I think we do need it now. It's like, well, let's just take it to council and let them settle it.
Right.
Yeah, and we've had issues like that,
Right.
like when we've rented the generators for the emergencies, when the freeze was coming and stuff, and so I was like, hey, I think we need to get this generator, and I was like, dude, I don't think we're gonna really need it. I don't think we're gonna lose power. I don't think we should be spending that. I think, I don't know what it costs, like a couple $1,000s to
It's
get
like
it out here.
a little less than 4,000.
So, you're looking at almost $4,000 to say, do we really need to spend that money on a generator, and then we don't use it? So then we've had discussions like that, and I said, no, I said, don't bring it, and if it happens, then I guess I have to, bite the bullet and say, I was the one that made the decision not to bring it. I think the last time was the storm, right? Was it the storm?
Well,
or something?
the freeze, we had that conversation and you were against it. Council members were for it. And I guess it was what you said, because it was too close to call. And then when I think it was the last storm that was coming in, you just said, let's go ahead and get it, because I'm a safer than sorry guy. I have emergency management training, and most times you're supposed to just, you bite the bullet. That's just what you do. But if you have that disagreement, that's the conversation that needs to happen.
But that's a good point, like, if the mayor says no, but the council says yes, then who do you go with?
Council.
And that needs, that needs to be in writing. I think everybody thinks that that's like common sense, right? Yes, but that way in case whoever is mayor at that time, you say, look, it says right here, I gotta go with the council.
And
That's what they say.
Consensus.
But are you going to poll the council by phone and get, I don't think that's really, you still have that open records or that open meetings thing, that the council's voting on something by phone to you're trying to get, or the count, him
It's
or
not
myself,
voting.
either me or him. Ultimately, yeah, it ends up, because the decision ends up being made because there was a
But in decision
consensus.
like that, couldn't we just
If,
allow him to decide what's best for the city?
I think that's a great idea.
That's
think
how I feel. I
He's
feel that,
trained in it, he
Yes.
knows the information, he's
And
not a
not-
newbie, he's been doing this kind of work
Yeah.
for a long time before he was a
I
mayor.
just feel in emergency situations, this is what we hired him for, was to make the best decision for the entire citizens. And I feel that in a situation like that, he should be allowed to decide. And I'm like him, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Well, I just kind of look at it, I guess I look at the finances with,
Whenever you posted that we're gonna have shelters, I called him. He goes, well, Billy, I'm gonna tell you that I highly discourage it.
Yep.
Because, and I agree with him. I said, well, first of all, you gotta call, first aid, you gotta call, you gotta feed them, you gotta clothe them, you gotta do all this.
but I don't think we were gonna do shelters. I think you and I spoke about, because you asked me about
Well,
that. It's not a shelter where they're gonna spend the night.
Though I think it was not your doing. I don't believe it was intentional, but I think people misconstrued it. And then council members are calling me, and my understanding was that it was just sort of like, there were people just couldn't be in their houses for a couple hours. They could come to the library like anyone
Right. I
could.
think that's what we
They
talked about.
they could be in there and warm up, but it wasn't my thinking, based on our conversation, that it was gonna be a shelter. But people, I guess, were calling y'all thinking it was a shelter.
Well, I didn't get any calls from any of y'all asking me what it was going to be for.
We
I was
called
just
him.
giving-
We-
I was just so,
We called him.
so I mean he knew. So he knew.
And
He already
I
knew.
think I called,
We
because
called.
I'm honest with you, like, I don't
He
get on,
already knew.
I don't get on Facebook, I'm not reading this stuff, because honestly, I'm too busy.
Well, people are calling me.
So
Maybe
I
so.
think I did call you and I said, hey, there might be an issue with your post. I haven't read it, but people are thinking that it's a shelter, and we talked about it, and he told me what it said, and I just took his word for it.
The post that
And
said
it
that
said-
you need shelter. We're gonna have the whole police department, and I don't remember where else. But when you say shelter, that means that they're gonna spend the night there. And like,
Oh, I don't think
I
that's
don't know.
what it was.
I mean, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I
It
just know
wasn't
based
really-
on our conversation after the fact, it wasn't the intention from the mayor to have a shelter. So my point at that point was, if anyone called City Hall and say it's not a shelter, you can hang out for a few hours as long as Donna's there working her regular hours. You're more than welcome.
What if you lose
Yeah.
power?
Right, exactly.
Power,
But-
what
but-
if you're stuck?
And that was sort of, we talked about it and people called, that's what I was gonna tell them. So, that's how it worked. And again, it was, at the end of the day, I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, and that's my thing. It's like, does it matter? I have a
Well,
problem with
and
it?
to me, the everyday operations in that city belongs to you.
I agree.
So if you feel that you need to shut it down for whatever reason, it should be you. Just a line of communication.
That's a good
to
point.
us.
That's another good point. I think one time that you were gonna shut down the city, and I think we discussed that. The mayor said, no, the freeze.
It was,
For the safety of the.
it was the freeze, the roads were gonna ice over, and I was gonna,
Whether or not
y'all-
the employees reported for work.
right. So then it was a discussion of who says so. And I mean, honestly, I didn't know, so I let the mayor make the call.
And that should have been your.
No, that should have been your call, and you let us know. Say, hey, my employee will not be coming in because the safety issue or the freeze or whatever.
Right.
That comes from you. What are we gonna do? We're gonna say no?
So, Mr. Shaw, hey, Mr. Bain.
Well, I just wanted to encourage the dialogue that's taking place, because that's how you're going to make progress.
Yeah.
And in a discussion items besides the expenditure authority and making decisions with regards to city operation, who's responsible for the agenda? Well,
No, the mayor's agenda. It's the mayor's agenda.
It's just another example
That's a better
of
agenda.
something for you all to work through hypothetically.
Yeah, it's the mayor's agenda.
Because if two city council members want to talk about an item, I'm
It's-
used to that being on the agenda, whether the mayor wants to or not.
It is.
Well, that's the way it is.
It is.
It's still,
Yeah.
And yet administratively, this guy is carrying the bags. He's drafting the agenda for the mayor,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah, and there have been some instances where there's been some things on the agenda that he sends to me, and because I don't really know what, I don't really know what he's thinking, and he'll send it to me, and I'll say, you know what, that's too much on one day. This can wait till next, or we can have a special call meeting. So let's drop that, because if not, we're gonna be there till 11.
And
So
I think we've started to develop a good flow, like right now, like we say Wednesdays, you want it done by that time, and I put on, and I just want to put on the calendar, so you don't have to, send me a text. So, so that you have time to review it, to remove things, to shift things around, so it's because ideally I would like to have an approval, by Friday morning, so that I can get the drafts out and get stuff out and stuff, and we've done a pretty good job. Like, it is a lot of working to find the timing right, and we work from there. It's fluid. And I want to make something perfectly clear, like, the communication between I and the mayor, I would say, if I gave it a percentage, it's like 98.999. The other thing is just our learning opportunities. Again, example is like, and this is something that came up a lot about this meeting, was my understanding was that and I understand agenda items, but when council members or sending me emails about, I was thinking of meeting this day, these days. So my understanding, if I'm wrong, is that the meeting is going to happen regardless. You know, and it is going to get the mayor to approve to have the meeting.
Resolutions in place and there's full council, they want to take everything.
But it's just
The residents have a right to put stuff on the agenda. Theirs is on the blue screen that needs to come up, so they also have an opportunity. Even though it's the mayor's agenda, there's something on there.
I'm not gonna, you know, I mean, just like I do at the council meeting, as long as you're discussing what's on the agenda, you know, I'm gonna let people talk. You know, I said that from the beginning, I'm not gonna be shut, now if it gets violent or, you know, there's some abusive language or whatever, you know, I already talked to the sheriff, you know, he did call me or just text me and I'll send somebody over there, maybe somebody escorted, you know, whatever, out. But, I don't think it's gotten to that point yet. But I do know, like with this specific, I didn't know about this meeting until I saw the post on Facebook that there was a workshop today. That's how I found out about this workshop.
Right, they never respect that you send me an invite.
Exactly. There was an invite, but I didn't have the city. I didn't have, no attachment to it. I can't open that, because I use my phone, obviously, because I can't use my city computer at work. So,
But
you
there
know,
wasn't, I didn't get it. I did see it.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't open it. I didn't see an attachment at all. So he forwarded it to me by email. So what I'm basically, what I'm getting to is that I didn't know that Jesse and Isaac had requested this workshop. I had it scheduled for today because obviously my days off, my regular job are Friday. And of course I do things on the weekends. I had some things with the bypass. I had meetings this morning to discuss the bypass issues because apparently there's a new path now. So I had to basically reschedule those, and they were able to meet with me yesterday, you know, but then I had things at City Hall that I needed to do yesterday in the morning, but I couldn't do them because I had afternoon meetings, you know, in Portland and in Ingleside. So that's kind of what I told Sal. I said, you should have let me know when they asked to do this workshop so I could call them and say, hey, can we schedule it for a different day? Because I have schedule conflicts because I don't want to miss, you know, a workshop or, you know, anything. I want to try to be here for every meeting unless it's critical that I can. And I said, so he said, well, if you need to, let me talk to Jesse. So I said, I'll call him. And I talked to Jesse. And after talking to him, I said, well, you know what? Let me just see if I can change my appointments to Friday. Because I think so, yeah, there's some people that like to be at this. They had scheduled it for Saturday. Either way, so I didn't know about this meeting until, you know, a few days before the meeting scheduled. So again, I don't know if the council, if you have two council members who want to have a workshop or want to put something on the agenda, do they go directly to Sal and say, hey, or do they come to me as the mayor and say, hey, can you put this on the agenda? And then I'll tell Sal, hey, Jesse and Isaac want this on the agenda.
Well, we've been planning this for the last couple of months, right?
Yep.
We've been planning this for a couple of months, haven't we?
Is that the way you understand it, Ms. Becky? There was one to you, and then you reported to the mayor before you put it out? Yeah. Right. So you would report it to the mayor before you put it out? And I'm okay with that. I mean, as long
And
as,
technically, I did send it to you. You just couldn't up the attachment, and I didn't know until Thursday night, I think. You told me that.
Well, maybe
well, I think in the future, just, I mean, you know, I'm working, right? So it's better probably you'd be better off with just like, and you've done it a few times, you see me say, hey, call me and see if you can or whatever. It'd probably be better that we communicate that way. And, you know, when I get out of court or something, I can call you and say what's going on. Or text me and say, hey, I just be talking about A, B, and C. And I'll call you back because just like, well, that's true too, because we do get a lot of emails. I mean, even my as mayor, you know, we get tons, and I know that probably remember getting tons and tons. A lot of it is nonsense, you know, email updates, Facebook, so it's sometimes I might miss an email, but.
And you're right, Mayor. I mean, like I said, if that's how it needs to work, and but I just need to make sure that I understand correctly that council members can basically force a meeting to happen, regardless if you want it to happen or not, right? Because you have, I understand, you're the mayor, you have authority over how the meeting works, you have authority over the agenda.
This was an important one. I mean, so they would get out of hand and everyone's colors and stuff.
I sent out the invite, which I'm not usually on this, but it was all this stuff came on, you know, late Monday, and then I sent the before I posted it it went out Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday at 4 is when I sent out the invite to the council. So
Even Tuesday. I mean, my appointment for today
right,
was scheduled
yes.
2 weeks ago.
Right, yes.
You know, so
right.
I mean,
but you're right. I need to get a consensus of schedules prior to scheduling these things. I was moving just quickly because we're kind of going back and forth and stuff. But I guess what I'm going to need to do going forward is when these things pop up is that I need to put a tentative invite, and that's your trigger to say I can't make it. I have something going on. I don't even know what it is. Just you can't make it.
But then can he do that? Because if you're doing that, everything that.
Well, this is also important too, because we had the public hearing. That was also,
There's times that the mayor can't be there either.
well, the public hearing, I wasn't even concerned about really, because I mean, I had a feeling that there wasn't going to be many people showing up, but it was the workshop itself. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say something on, like, in Sal's, like, not defense or whatever, but I think y'all misunderstand that he is human, just like you all have jobs, you all have lives, you all have families. Y'all need to allow him to have a work balance. I come home from work sometimes at 7 o'clock and I still see this car here. And y'all need to give him the ability to make a decision to say, if Billy, you call and say, Sal, I need you to do this, and Sal can make a decision to say, you know what, I will work on that, it won't be today, I will get to it though, and he still be safe with his position where he's at. Because that is a problem. When I come home at 7 o'clock and he's still here at the city, and he has to drive 35 minutes home, that's not a work balance. That is going to make him not like to come to work. That is going to jeopardize the city as a whole, because as much as he's benefited this city. So y'all need to all understand that. And y'all need to stop saying things in meetings and not put it in writing. Because I've heard this before, where, yeah, Sal, you can do this. Yeah, Sal, you can do this. He's been here almost 2 years, and y'all still do not have it in black and white what he can and cannot do. And that is important, because if he's still struggling with what he has the ability to do, why are y'all having all these workshops with nothing being done?
that's what we're doing right now. He's making
No,
bullet.
well, black and white.
That's what we're gonna do, it black and white right now.
And with everything considered, my struggle, it's this compared to everything else. I have to be honest with you. It's like even the phone calls and the text messages on the weekends and stuff, that has really backed off a little bit, which I'm grateful for. But I understand the operation. I am in charge of everything.
Yes.
I'm IT, I have to manage, I have to sort of gather, and I can't be a superintendent of the waste and water, but I have to understand how it works so that I can help make our guys make decisions and stuff. I mean, I'm
Surveying land, surveying roads.
I'm going out to properties and looking at easements. I mean, planning and zoning. I'm not trying to, build myself up in kind of way.
It's important that they understand you need a work balance.
And I feel that y'all understand I have a lot on my plate, and that when I need time off, I need time off.
Well,
I don't think you've ever been in. I've always told you, dude, what are you still doing there at 5 o'clock? I've told you that. And I don't think anybody here,
Well, I think
hopefully, has
sometimes- I
not
think sometimes-
forced you to be here after working
I
hours.
think
I
sometimes
don't
it's
expect
just
you
that, because Sal has his son, and he takes his son to school in the morning,
I don't want to talk about personal
Yeah,
stuff.
so, I mean,
No, he's good.
he stays after, a lot of times, sometimes he stays after to meet with me, because I don't get here till 6. I mean, we try to talk on the phone usually almost every day, I guess, afterwards,
Yeah.
We talk on the phone, hey, what's anything I need to know today, or.
If I'm not in the office, it's on the drive. It's on my drive.
And then, and then even like on weekends, if something happens on the weekends, I know he lives in corporate. I know it's hard for him to drive over here, especially at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, because there's a broken water line or whatever, and I tell him, I said, I'll send him a text or whatever, and I'll go out there, and if I have to be out there with the guys to make decisions if they need to be made. So I try to, very, very, I think we try very hard to make sure that Sal isn't here 24/7, because he probably could. I know he works from home a lot too. There are some days that he say, hey, look, I have something going on, and I'm going to be available by phone, and he's pretty responsive to the call. I think that we can speak some things to make sure that we have a better understanding, and Sal has a better understanding of
I think
how we
if
move
he
forward.
happens to stay here because you're wanting to meet with him after hours, I think that we should do some type of a compensation and let him come in the next day a little later.
I mean, here's the thing. When I got hired, when I was interviewed and when I hired, I asked about life-work balance, and part of that was flexibility. And y'all have given me that. So I do have flexibility. I do have the ability to say, okay, I'm working till 10. 11 because the meeting's over at 10. And then I'm getting phone calls after that on the drive home, right? It doesn't stop going. So when it's like, I'm gonna come a little late tomorrow, or I'm gonna take care of something personal because my week is full. I'm able to do that. I'm able to flex my time, and I've not had any issue with it. So
That's better than even just you or anybody. As long as you're doing your job, and if you're here at 6 o'clock tomorrow, the next day come in at 9, come in at 10. You don't. You're.
And he does that. I mean, I think that he, I think he's very good at letting me know. And when he's sick or something, he'll text me and say, hey, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to be out there, I'm available by phone. I have a computer with me, whatever the case may be. I don't want him or even Betsy, because sometimes Betsy stays here with you as well after hours. I don't want either one of them to get burned out, in a year's time and say, what, I think, like you said, I think we have a good relationship, we have a good partnership, because we do have to work on some things, obviously. We'll work on that. We'll try to put some things in writing. I think you got, kind of your bullet points, and then what you can probably do is put that together, and then send it out to the council by email or something, and they can review it and make their own recommendations on we'll have a little group email and say, hey, I think we need to do this or do that. We can talk to each other by email. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, so-
let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this.
I wanted to talk about that, but Paul, on your budget, I'm showing 7,000 for training development under general. Is that where it's at?
Yeah, any training, it's all together.
It's all together, huh? Oh, is that right?
yeah,
At that time, you had spent half that much.
Okay. And for the
And
following year?
then the year before, you spent 6500. Before that, 6900.
Okay,
That would include the council members' pay amounts.
okay. Okay. So I guess now under training and as long as you're within the budget, you're, there's 7,000.
And again, none of this is gonna be black and white. It can't be. I mean, and the thing is, like, so I think I've had a couple different conversations with people about, like I said, well, I don't know that I should go to that thing. And I was like, oh, you should. So it's like, okay, so I'll just make it, investment, you need to do like somebody need to invest. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it specifically. All I'm saying is that, like, if you say, oh, you need to go to this thing, I don't think it's a good use of my time.
Or money.
Money, right. Because some things don't cost you anything. In fact, if you want to know the truth, I would say maybe I can't be accurate. I can't remember the last time I asked for per diem or gas money. One, because I like to use my own vehicle. I don't like to drive other people's cars. I have all my survival stuff in the back, so I don't charge you gas. I don't ask for gas. It's always, no, get gas. Like, no, this just comes out of my pocket because I choose to drive my own vehicle. Well, you offer, so I take it.
No, we gotta get up.
And then per diem, I don't ask for any food. That's something I'm entitled to, I suppose, right? But I just don't do it because that's my contribution.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that there is a little balance there. But my commitment to anyone here, and
not at all.
He's not.
my commitment to everyone is that I am gonna do, I do want to do trainings and take opportunities to, learn and or refresher. There's like, we went to we went to a couple economic development trainings in November, and we learned some new stuff, and that actually pushed us to get an attorney for the EDC. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah, and at least I think the only thing that I have with discussions that Sal and I have had, that I've had with Sal, is making sure that whatever training that he wants to go to is going to benefit the city in some way, right? It's not just going to training for dog catcher, I mean, and that's just, I know it's a little hypothetical, but making sure that we're going to, especially it's going to cost us money, right? For a room and board, and especially if it's going to be out of town, far away, he has to drive. Let's make sure that money is going to be well spent, and that he's going to actually bring something back to the table for the city that's going to help us. And that's the only thing that I usually ask, and I think he's pretty good at that. I think we had that conversation once, and we haven't had that conversation again. So, just we just have to continue to just do.
So is this Odem's, is this ours?
That's the one.
That's the one.
I think it was approved.
That's
Can we fine tune this? Because that's not right.
Well, I don't know if we can do that in this.
I don't know where'd you get this at?
This was adopted, right?
Y'all approved that last summer, and then it got adopted with the budget.
It was, that was Paul. Paul did this.
Yeah,
No, I did that.
This was
Sal
adopted
did that.
You screwed up.
with the budget?
Yeah.
Yo,
When we
It
approved
was
this,
all
Yes.
inside.
was I asleep?
No, I
So-
presented that, I want to say like in like July, we were kind of talking about it. I presented this, and then y'all said great, and then it became part of the document, and then, I mean, it's still fluid. Because here's the reality of it. Since that document was created, we've got people who were in supervisor positions.
Yes, that was one of the
move
things that
down.
needed to
We've had
change.
people who were lower can move up.
Yeah.
Because I need help out in the field, right? Maintenance specifically. And then now we're back to foremen because it was too much. And we need people on certain areas that we need to focus on. And I'm not going to overwhelm you, but now I'm back to overseeing the maintenance department. I was before, but I haven't people, and there's people paying attention to the computer. And now it's back to, okay, I have to put everything to know what to do.
so with the city employees and the field, how many total employees?
Total, it's what do you say? It's like 19. Yeah,
It's a lot. Okay.
There's total of 19 employees.
right. I think I might be including the judge, who's not technically
But we
employed.
don't have a public works superintendent.
We don't. That's a dream. That's a dream.
We should. With that many employees, we should.
Yeah.
Or a
And,
foreman.
and another thing too
Well,
is,
that's why we have foremen, we have 2 foremen, but,
We're not on the roads, right?
what's that?
We have a foreman?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like things have changed and kind of going back, but now we're back to this. Ironically, we're talking about it now. Now we have, a field foreman, Jerry, and then
So,
Sanchez.
so it's the citizens, so the
But yes,
citizens,
you're right. We should probably add citizens. on.
citizens, and then it'd be council, right?
Yep.
And then who else? Council goes to mayor, right?
what,
The flow chart?
Mhm.
a flow chart?
Yeah, what you got right there.
Yeah, well, what are you saying, citizens?
They elect us,
They're
Right, right.
our
Well, the
bosses.
citizens have a right to go.
you know, the flow chart there.
But I-
So the citizens.
Citizens at top,
That's what he said.
council, mayor, and then it goes to administrator,
Administrator.
city administrator, and Sal, I guess you can fill in the rest, right?
Mhm.
Because we don't have half the stuff.
As the-
Librarian goes to the dog catcher up here.
Yeah, Miss Donna, once they open up that county dog pound, you're gonna have to,
Yeah,
you're gonna be like
you're
this,
still
like this,
Coming out against.
like this Billy Joe's card.
you still gotta go in the car.
Librarian, dog catcher.
Why don't you have the,
Removable
so,
thing.
Can you
why don't
change
you have
it?
the ambulance on her?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Put 'em on the door.
They're not part of. They're a contractor.
Yeah.
So
I
he
mean,
can,
I know you can make that argument for the judge, but I don't tell them what to do. I only.
I think he said he
I'm
had
more-
it in case we could get that position.
What was it?
The ambulance.
The EMS people that I don't tell them what to do. If we have issues, I tell the operation Stephanie or the operational officer,
Okay.
and then we're there to support. Like if the sewer's backed up or if their AC is broken.
But I think you should still put them under you, because technically they're under you. If they mess up, you're gonna go to them.
Mhm,
So it's just like a fire chief.
yeah.
These guys are volunteers. I mean, you're not gonna go over there and mess up.
There's a difference between the Odem Fire Department and the 501c3.
See, that's another thing that goes into
There's a
the.
big difference between those things. Now, I've gone through this before, where they do this. And when I took over this department, way back when, I had to do that, and it made a lot of people upset, because people, that's the thing, when the 501c, so I'll give you an example. So it was a board that existed under, as a branch of the government, right? So they went out and did a fundraiser to raise some money in good faith, raised about 10 grand. And then the county basically said, hey, that 10 grand needs to come through us and needs to be put in your budget. No, that we raised that money. No, you're an extension of the government. That needs to go through the proper channels, just like donations and anything, whether it's cash donations or material donations, right? So, but this is back in the night. So then those same people said, we're not going to do that anymore. We created a 501c3. Now the names aren't too different, but there's a 501c3. So they had this going on. So they would do their fundraisers. They got their money. They did whatever they want with it. The government couldn't tell them what to do, right? Great. But eventually over time, they started to do this. By the time I got it, you had city employees doing the work of the 501c3. Then you had, funds being used, this and that. So what I did was I separated. I said, anything that the 501c3 does, y'all can do anything on your own. However, you have no connection to the city other than what you want to give to the city as a donation.
Yeah, the 501c3, actually, it wasn't a 501c3 until last year sometime, but
Correct.
they had their own, I guess, their own board.
Right.
And they were doing a lot, and I think that you're the one who brought it up to me about, because I think you, the legal thing about them fundraising and that money having to come to the city, which was never being done. In the past, they would fundraise, they kept the money, but that wasn't, I guess, legal. And the funds had to come to the city, and then the city would disperse them as we saw fit for the fire department. And I think that's where they started to push to get their 501c3 status. So basically, they're just like an association, like the teachers association, like we have our county employee association.
Like the PTA.
Right, their organization is just theirs. They have their nonprofit. They can raise funds. They can have barbecues, whatever, and it stays. And then they can use those funds to purchase what they need, and then basically they donate them back to the city. Like if somebody needs a new uniform, they can use their own money, but they have, it's basically if they quit or whatever. I mean, I don't know if they could take it with them, or
Turn it back in.
But
right, or
that's
turn them back in. I mean, that's kind of
that's the
gray
question
area.
I have, because this fire truck brings a good point. So if the 501c3 buys the truck and never donates it to the city,
That they can't use it.
who's to stop them from doing it?
Well,
But here's the thing,
this
like,
board right here,
right,
these
right.
5 people here.
But it's like the fire
So-
truck, can they go like the county, through the county, get the insurance through the county?
It ain't
Or
happening.
the
It ain't
state?
happening. It ain't gonna happen.
No, because there's still the Odem Volunteer Fire Department, so we still,
and that's another thing. I mean, there has to be an understanding that, like, okay, so those tires that were donated, right? That's a good example. Anything like that, whether it's from Bay Area or Bay LTD, or it's from the firefighters nonprofit, if those are materials or equipment that's supposed to be used for the fire department, those need to be donated to the city, like we did the tires. Just it's a formality. It's like here, but they are now city property. If someone for the 501c, right, because and you have to do that, right? And we're not going to let people use equipment that's not donated to the city.
and that
So-
has to be approved, like, and we'll go to this fire department, this
Mhm.
fire truck. Before we take possession of it, it has to come before y'all.
Mhm.
And y'all can go and look at it. We can have Danny go and look at it and check the maintenance on it, check the tires, do whatever. Or we can have somebody, an expert with the fire, somebody from Corpus or somebody to come and actually check the whole truck out, make sure that it's safe, make sure everything that's supposed to be on it is functional. And then we can bring that report to you guys, the council, and then you guys approve accepting that donation. But we have to make sure that the truck is safe and that it's in good working order before we send it out on any calls.
So the fire chief knows that?
Yeah.
He knew that?
Yeah,
And they-
I don't
told
know
them.
about the truck?
I don't know anything about this.
I told them that the only way, well, I mean, there was actually some discussion amongst themselves, and I just heard this from one of the other volunteers there, that there was some discussion among themselves, that they didn't want to donate to the city. They wanted to donate to their truck. They wanted the association's truck. We don't want to give it to the city. But we're going to have that discussion with them when they decide they need to have it insured, because it's not going to go. I explained to Robert that they cannot go out on calls with it because there's a liability to the city if that truck isn't, equipped properly or running properly.
And
So
that should go for any equipment. That should go for anything. Like uniforms, anything that they buy with donated funds that is for the work of the volunteer fire department should go through the city and be accepted as a donation.
I agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna redo this, right?
Yeah, no, I'll put a new draft together and then I'll look at it.
We'll get it, okay.
So, but typically the whole goal of the reason that there's those organizations
To support.
is to support.
Yeah, kind of like the Teachers Association and all that. Maybe
To
that's,
support like PTO, PTA, because they give the money or they buy, even like they have education foundation.
even like the boosters, he was involved with the school booster club forever. That's what the boosters is there. They raise funds and then they buy equipment for the football team or the baseball team. That's what their association is. Right. I mean, even if they buy, to me personally, I mean, and just because like when we had the Sinton fires, I was like just stressing, and I called Robert a couple times because of the way the fire was moving. I was so concerned that they were going to get caught in between those two fires, because when the fire jumped over to the woods at the elementary school and it was moving towards the high school, they had to get out of the neighborhood to fight that fire to get all the way to the school. So I asked Robert afterwards. I said, "Is there anything that you guys need after they all came home? Is there anything y'all need? Is there, what And the only thing he says, man, we could use water, stuff like that. I said, so you know what? That's why I put an email, and people came and dropped off like cases and cases of water out at the fire department for them. And luckily, because like the very next day, I think they got called out again to multiple fires. I think 3 days in a row they were out there working. But they understand that. We're going to have the fire truck inspected, make sure that it's in good running order, and then it'll come
the fire department itself, their money is not the fire department. That's why they did it, because they want to fundraise. At the same time, whatever they buy, like equipment, like a truck, they can't just expect to see that being properly donated, and then understand that you can't get back so that's the understanding. Whatever they, like I said, and there's going to be there might be some bleed over, but that's where we have to start. And I think that's what people are going to probably not like the change.
Well, I think you could discuss this with Robert. Michelle. Anytime they're doing something like this, like buying the truck, it should have said Odem Volunteer Fire Department Association. City. And when they're doing fundraisers, or doing anything, they need to say, it's the Odem Volunteer Fire Department Association, not Odem Volunteer Fire Department. So they can, distinguish that this is not the city, this is the volunteer association. Just like you guys with the Booster Club. Right. So.
Remember, they always had like a treasurer that documented
Yeah, we
all
did.
their expenditures and.
Yeah, they do. They have a board, basically. They have a treasurer. So they have to. Homer's the treasurer. Yeah. They have to have a board because of the 501c3 status.
So on this, I think you need to add the ambulance too.
I have a note here to add.
Yeah, because, you negotiated the contract. You didn't negotiate, but you guided it the right way. They were dealing with you, they weren't dealing with us. So even though those employees don't report to you, you still have something to do with that.
Yeah, and Stephanie Newsom's really good about communicating and stuff. So yeah, we have a good relationship. But you're right, I did make a note to add it to this.
So what do we got going here on your bullet points there?
Well, the main things are define expenditure authority for the mayor and city administrator. I guess define who the public information officer is. Honestly, with that, it's usually the city administrator, but y'all are like the officials on it. At the end of the day, any one of you could talk to the media. That's just my personal opinion. But well, I do that for the city. I just y'all all have your own pages. I can't be in charge of those,
I want to see the resolution.
Yeah.
It's like, I know the Baptist mayor has
You
a
can-
mayor page.
You can,
I think that one did, I don't know if that one's still there. Sitting one has a mayor page, Brooklyn has a mayor page.
I think we do a resolution. Let's do a resolution.
I got one.
Hold on. Jesse.
I got one. When we go in there, say I want to go in as a city council, what information can I get from you without going through PIA?
So that's a good question, because I don't know that it's clearly defined, what direct access any one of you have to documents. Could any one of you walk in there and say, I want to look through these records here? And then,
That's what I said, what can we legally
The
do?
city council has a right to go in there.
Where's that in writing? Where's that in writing? I mean,
We can always create that because it depends on your process. Your process depends on your rating and everything. You're not going to computer, you're not going
now we can go through the minutes. So, cause Sal,
no, no, correction. The minutes are available, they're in hard copy in boxes.
Yeah.
yes,
So,
So the website link that says minutes.
well, the minutes go back, hold on, the minutes go back as far as I've been here, they've been posted.
So as the organization chart is amended, reference to the prior.
See, that's what I want to do, is just go.
so what for Sal's clarification, say I wanna go in there and look at, a water bill. Can I do that?
Oh, or a citizen? No.
Okay,
No, I know that, but that's the thing, it's like, we need to define that, because it's like, so here's the thing, here's the.
no, but no, I just threw that out, or,
Okay, you can, but it would be under the double declaration.
you can't do it all. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm
So did the citizens.
Whenever you.
Yeah, but what about the people?
What I'm getting at is just control. Right. Now, to me, not that people work, but it would be more, we can only request. We can set for the documents for them. But if you're okay with people, if you're okay with
That there was a formal request
Yeah.
on what, who has.
So you guys
Sign it in. To sign in, say.
What do you think?
Well,
Some kind of form.
I would prefer because I'm going to be lost forever.
Well, I think that what is it that you're going to look at and not just come in and say, oh, go through files. Then, pull whatever you have to pull. And not just, everybody just being able to open the drawers and take whatever they want. As Amanda said,
Becky's question, what do you think about this thing? What is your, yeah, what do you think? Yeah. Just say you were there. I mean, so here, I think we just follow what the citizen told. Okay, I got what, well, the closed session. On closed session, on closed session, we gotta, because only we can do closed session. Closed session, only we. Reserved session.
Happened before, right, Chicky? It's over the bridge.
We had this thing put it on the ground, and they powered it up over here behind that.
So real quick, just so we can so I can help push this along. Yes, right.
Okay, so
So right now, I'm very strict on the pay with the citizens. Strict meaning just there's documentation. I've had our staff go through public information act training for the first time for them. They've never had that training before. So right now, anyone that emails us asking for something, we do send them a form and say, please fill this out. And there is still, and I think people are just used to the old way of doing stuff, but there's certain things that we're going to do for you and certain things we're not going to get for you. Like, we can't keep dialing it down for you. It's like, whatever you ask for is what we're going to give you. There is a clarification letter you'll need to get. If we can't find what you're looking for, we're going to try to communicate with you and say, we'll try to get to by this date, but there's a hang up.
We've got 10 days.
Right, but as long as when you communicate with that person and say, we need more time, we're estimating it would maybe this next Friday we get it to you. That's what we're. Right, no, I'm building up to that. So the next step is, okay, council members, right? So if y'all are okay with someone saying, I guess in the past, council members just come in and start looking through stuff, right? Make copies if they wanted to. My problem with the signing is that can get lost. And I don't want anyone accused of something's missing. They didn't touch anything, did everything they're supposed to, but something was always missing. Someone can say, oh, you were over there in that room, now it's gone. That kind of stuff. I would just prefer, to me, honestly, it's just, it would just be an email to me saying, for the file.
He's not doing like the citizen.
Well, emails are forever, but I would, PDF and take it. I have a PIA file right now, but anyone that's something I'm in. Yeah, there'd be a digital version.
We are the police. We're the ones that decide who cashes CDs and we're the ones. I know, in your personal page, you say you want to have 200 hearings and let decide. No, they voted us and we made this. So, but I want to go back to the rules, shall we? I want to find what we created. Remember, Jesse, we are the committee. And First State Bank of Odem is our bank.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago. That's what you need to do first.
We did
All of that, oh, well, 6, 7, 8 years?
Now, I remember, you know. So that's.
So, like, there have been Jerry going this way. Jerry's more expert about that stuff than I am, right? So that's to me, I almost chime in because y'all are just having a conversation, and I think you're covering yourself in a way, or saying like, I mean, hey, at least you know about it, right? And of course, if there was a conversation happening that I thought you probably shouldn't do that. Let's maybe go talk to so and so about it. But my point is that I don't want to stop that. I think that's great. I just don't want to play the middleman when I don't need to, for efficiency's sake. And another thing is, if there's something that's basically going to be a work order, I would prefer that if a citizen calls you about an issue, and if they just would call City Hall, it goes to the proper channels. I don't have to get a phone call on the weekend to put in the work order. It would be a lot easier just if y'all get a phone call from the citizen on an issue, just have to call City Hall. That's good. Because here's my thing, that little part keeps me on edge from going to a movie when I don't have my phone. Keep me from going to a theater on the road. That honestly, that when that goes off on the weekend, I think it's an emergency, and it worries me because I do carry it. So if it's not an emergency, send it out. If it's not an emergency, send an email. That'd be great.
Well, I think I think we've had issues with our on-call.
Right.
Yeah. Explain that, explain that on-call.
Now,
Explain the on-call.
now, if there's an issue with the on-call, then I need to get involved.
Who is on-call? No, who is, how does that
Who
work?
answers the phone?
Yeah.
Contract.
Who is it, from where?
Man, I can't tell you. I see the
Is it
bill.
Walmart, is it Target, or is it H-E-B's? The on-call. I don't
It's
know
an
what you're
on-call
asking.
service. It's
It's a
just,
non-call service that we pay.
yeah.
I don't know who it is. I would.
Well, you should know more than I would have.
We've been here longer.
I've never.
I think there's been a couple of instances where, and again, we're kind of getting off topic. We're getting off topic. But
Okay.
there have been some issues where people have called the on-call, and they've even messaged me, and I say, well, just call the City Hall. It'll go to our answering service, and they'll let the maintenance guys know. They say, well, I already did, and it rang and rang and rang, and nobody ever picked up. So then I said, well, you know what? I call, and it rang for 5 minutes, and nobody ever picked up. That's when I usually will email Sal, say, hey, can you send somebody over to this place? I don't call the maintenance guy and say, hey, go to this place. Because a lot of times I don't look to see who's on call. Or I'll text him and say, hey, who's on call? Now, if Sal doesn't respond real quick and it's a sewer issue, then I may text Jerry, but I usually will include him in the text and say, hey, who's on call today? There's a sewer issue at, whatever, Vista Drive or something. And because he may not respond fast enough. But for the most part, I do kind of go through him, or I tell citizens, go through the answering service. So they'll take care of that. So,
Yeah, and like I said, I understand there's going to be a situation like that. I think in that instance, then you got me involved, and appropriately so, right? Because there's a failure in the system. And then I call on call, and they pick up the phone. almost right away, and I just delivered the information and then call technical against me. So there must have been some issue with that. Right? I think another instance was there was some miscommunication with who was on call, and that got changed last week because some personal issues, and it wasn't backtracked. And investigators found out what the deal was. Okay, so in the future, you need to change the email because the mayor and me, and I don't know if y'all need to know who's on call, but if you're telling people to call it in, even y'all can call it in. I've done it before, but in that instance, it was just a miscommunication with scheduling, not scheduling the emails, so that we knew who was supposed to be, because we're like, well, so-and-so's gonna get in trouble. It was this guy. I just didn't change it there. So that kind of stuff. Well, what they do is they roll it over. They basically roll it over. Every maintenance employee has a cell phone, so and that can be changed. That's what we always do before they leave for the day. So call, they verify, all the numbers. I would say, I don't know, what do you think, maybe like 99% of the time, it's pretty efficient. But you got that little small.
I think the only calling the maintenance, they'll get too many calls and they can get rid. But I think that the on-call service, I think they work from home sometimes, because I called, well, actually that day that we had an issue, I called back and I could hear a dog barking in the background. So I'm thinking that they probably those calls are routed to somebody who's working from home. And if they're like busy doing, I don't know, cooking dinner or whatever, they may not right away in. Or that too. So I mean,
after hours, there's always a maintenance service that is trained to, and I'll get emails some reason. So when I wake up in the morning, and that's my pushing them to communicate with customers, educate them, and mind the presentation. So with that being said, just so everyone knows, that's what happens. That's who you're calling. No, we're paying them. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the budget of that. Yeah, it's like $50 I don't know. Well, they
have a switchboard.
City of Odem, how can I help you? They're going to take down your address, and then they're going to call the on-call person and relay the information to them. Give them all the information. Then our on-call guy assess the situation. And I still will get a call once in a while about like, hey, there's a leak. Can it wait till tomorrow because what am I doing? Then you got to balance that decision with how much water are we losing. And Mayor and I have worked together, and I think we've got a pretty good idea of when to call it. But still, sometimes I like to know. What do you think? Yes, she lets them know, yes. And we have, through our email, and I can put this on your calendars too, myself in there, and the admin, it'll tell you who's on call and for the time. So that time, the county will assign that schedule. So that way, I don't get a call from who's on call. Look at your calendar, I know, we have to fix your thing, but what I would say is like, there are just ways to streamline things, so, that's just my request. Is try to ship it through, try to. Of course, if there's no results and you're getting feedback saying, hey, it's been for 10 hours.
You might have already resolved it, was that our previous consultant was still on the call list.
Oh.
And then he would relay it to me, if I just got called, whatever, so it's all already been addressed.
Right, yeah, we updated the list. I gave the appointments and authority to all the kids. It shouldn't just be me deciding who's on call because I just disappeared a month. So there needs to be a plan laid out with just other people that can take the responsibility. And then on that thing with the security system, I think we were getting those calls, and I think we streamlined that. We just said, call me if there's an issue. 9 times out of 10 I'll know, or I'm calling Donna to, hey, did you set the alarm, and whatever it was. So that kind of to alleviate him, because y'all need the work-life balance as well. I mean, y'all all have jobs, responsibilities throughout the day. I did.
You gotta go to Zumba.
I threw it. That's why I said jobs and responsibilities.
He's exhibit.
Well, anyway, but what I'm saying is
He
that
could be the after hours.
Let's go ahead and move on, because tax officer down there, traffic was backing up. Let's start moving, so they must be there. Is there anything else on this, Sal, you got any bullet points? Just go ahead and put something together, email everybody, and then everybody can review it. Let's try to reply all. If you have any input, let's reply all, so like that we can all kind of know what everybody's thinking. We're all right.
I don't think you do that. I think you're about to meeting. So
Just
I'll figure out the right way to do it. We can talk. Well, that's technically that could be, you could be see when y'all in text, email, phone calls, if you're in a quorum, you're violating the rule.
So send it, I guess, individually. So
Yeah.
I'll respond to you with any recommendations.
I usually blind copy y'all when I send stuff out.
Yeah.
That's why I say this is a blind copy to all three
Yeah, that's
companies.
good. Blank copy.
But what I'll do, I'll figure out the most efficient way to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, and we could send it, and we could just send our recommendations to you and kind of make adjustments along the way. And then when we have a final chart or whatever, then, we can maybe approve the new one
Yeah.
in our council meeting.
Is this helpful?
Yeah. I mean, what ultimately is going to be is what you finally decide and vote on. That's going to be the go-to. No, we made some good progress, good conversation. I mean, it's important to have this stuff. I mean, because like I said, we're having to ask, oh, how did you used to do it, kind of stuff. I mean, we're still recovering from that, and we're just growing, and it's going to take time to get used to certain things. Some people don't like change, and unfortunately, that's part of it. We have to keep moving forward, and that's a question. It's like access to the records. Most people probably around here think, oh, just for the box. But now it's going to be digital access, and that's the next. I guess that's another. I'm sorry, I went prolong the meeting, but it's like, who has access? If you have walking access to the file, what kind of access do you have to the digital file? Because eventually those are going to go away. And they're going to be like, should you have direct access to our software system? Who does or who shouldn't? Do you have access to our shared drive? I would assume you do, but what's the key, right? And that's something we can figure out later, but I just want to plant that seed because that's where we're moving.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I think that there are different softwares out there where if everybody has a code to access something, and it'll show that this person accessed these files, these electronic files.
See, there you go. That's what we're good.
Even like at my work, the copy machine, you have to enter a code when you're going to copy something.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep tabs of who's copying what when. So
No.
You know.
Yeah, when we get there, we'll get there, but like just.
But it's a
planting
plant a
seeds.
seed.
Yes, thank you, food for thought.
All right, well, if there was, I think there was a good conversation, then we'll go ahead and we have a
And,
motion
and
to
Mayor,
adjourn.
and Mayor, we're not picking on you. No, we're not picking on you. I'll pick
that's
on you,
all
but
right.
I'll
That's
go
all
out,
right.
I'll go outside and I'll
Hey,
pick on you.
when I decided to run for this,
Yeah,
I knew there was gonna be
you
a
didn't
lot
have
of
no hair
bumps.
anyway.
There was a lot of bumps on the road, and I
No,
think they were
We're
smoothing,
going the right
smoothing things
direction.
out.
We're all good.
And, you know, we'll,
Yeah,
And
so we're
I
doing.
just-
you know,
I have one more thing,
Oh,
just to close it out. I'm sorry, because you're all. If I disagree with you, if I don't think it's a good decision, I'm not only trying to protect the city, I'm trying to protect y'all. Because I feel as if I've worked in government long enough to see enough bad happen. And I think I've have shared with you, it's like, I think it's a good idea because I don't think it's this, and I try to validate that, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm just here to say no, I'd rather say yes. But at the end of the day, I am still, under employed, I want to protect you from making mistakes. So I say that too.
when you and I have had disagreements, a lot of times we say, you know what, let that be.
Right.
Let that be.
Yes.
And let that be, give us an eagle, like in this, that shirt for the win. So we always kind of, okay, whatever you decide, then we'll go with it, And, so ultimately, I think we're still learning. I've only been here for 2 years, and a lot of y'all have been here a lot longer, but we are. Transform what we need to say. Yeah, like Ms. Donna did a great job with, updating a lot of our services or. So we, I think we're in the right direction. So if I have a adjourn, a second,
Right. Guys.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I saw your mom yesterday. Isaac, I saw your mom and your sister. Did you? At Nolan's. Tuesday, so.